वेलकम बैक टू चाय चैट। हम बात कर रहे हैं सुकन्या ओपेरा की, जो रविशंकर जी की हम सब के लिए आखिरी सौगात थी। ये ओपेरा सुकन्या मई में पूरे टूर करेगा। यूके में लेस्टर जाएगा, बर्मिंघम जाएगा, हर जगह, कहीं बहुत सारी जगह जाएगा। और इट्स इन एसोसिएशन विद कर्व एंड द रॉयल ओपेरा हाउस, एंड आई हैव the family here with me who has been talking to me very about the opera and a lot of other things, which is so, I mean, thank you so much, really. I'm so privileged, I'm so privileged, I'm so privileged. Sukanya ji, or to both of you, Ravishankar ji almost is a pioneer in bringing the two cultures together, East and the West together. Tell me about his interest. And I read that I think David said that he's such a perfect person to write an opera. Why would you say that? And tell me about the journey from East to West.
I mean, one really has to look at that question historically to be able to answer it somewhat properly. I mean, my father was always the pioneer. You know, he was the first Indian musician to bring his classical music form to the West. He was the first person to write for someone like Yehudi Menuhin, the legendary classical violinist. He taught jazz musicians like John Coltrane. He obviously became a kind of rock star figure for people in the 60s and brought the classical music even more to a global audience. He was the first person to write a concerto, the first to write a symphony. So then the amazing thing about him is he never stopped. He never rested on his laurels. He was always someone looking forward. And so to me, I never would have occurred to me that he would want to write an opera. But in hindsight, it seems like it makes perfect sense, because if he wanted to write a concerto, after writing 3 concertos and 1 symphony, what's next? I want to write an opera. You know? And I think for me, you have to look right back to his childhood, because unlike any other Indian classical music figure we have, he was someone that already was experienced in touring internationally by being a dancer in his brother's troupe with Shankarji. So he was touring from the 30s onwards, and so he had this understanding of Western audiences and Western culture. So even before he started trying to bring his music out, he knew how to present it, he knew how to talk about it, he spoke 4 languages, he had that kind of internationalism already. So he was a very unique figure, really.
Indeed. So Kanyaji, just one more personal, if I can. When you have a husband who is loved by so many globally, how do you share that love?
Talking about the audience or the women?
Well, I'll leave that to you. You can go to decide the extent. She can sing as well. Where's the sitar?
He was such a lovable person, you see.
Really?
I mean, if you met him, you saw him, you did fall in love with him, one way or the other. You know, something happened to you. That was his personality. And me, well, there was no other choice for me other than to accept him as he was. If I tried to change anything, then I would change his personality, then I wouldn't be in love with him anymore. You see?
You were in love with.
You see?
His totality.
His totality is what I fell in love with, you see, whatever it was. And if I changed it, then I wouldn't have been so attracted to him then. You see?
Very empowering.
You know, he was a flirt till the end, till the very end. He went to the hospital in an ambulance last, and he looks at the nurse and he says, "I missed you, so I came back," and winks at her. That was him. See?
Charming.
You know?
Charming.
He was charming.
Charming.
That's
Yeah.
really charming.
You know?
And that was him,
That was
wasn't
him.
it?
That
Huh?
was him.
Is your daughter flirty?
Yeah. Shankar blood runs in her too.
All right.
Anoushka, tell me about your future, your endeavors, your project. Where do you take this legacy? Or do you feel the pressure to take this legacy? Or you have your own?
I want to say one thing on this,
Okay.
please.
I'm never
Mother.
doing interviews with my mother. So
Mother.
it's a chance to go for it.
You know, Raviji said one thing to me. He said, "You watch my words. She's going to take the sitar far ahead of what I did, you know."
She is.
And she's doing it.
She is.
Its words are coming true. I mean, like, you know, when she did this Land of Gold, this new thing. I didn't know what to expect really. I saw the musical thing, and my God, I mean, I was like dumbfounded when I saw it. Amazing show, amazing presentation, and she's so true to her music, and that's what comes out so beautifully.
Yeah, that I have heard you, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
So I know. And you played in Trafalgar Square as well, and I was there. I waited till 8:39 to listen to you. So, you know, this interview is... Do you want to answer that, future endeavors?
I mean, I try and stay in the present. I mean, my focus is always to do the best work I can. I'm fortunate that I get to be very busy and make lots of music and make albums and tour, and I keep basically doing more of the same, like more touring, more performances, more albums. But I'm also looking at moving into composition more myself as well. I compose in my own work very much, but I would like to also start composing for orchestras, for opera, for dance. It's something I'm very interested in.
Do you think the Indian classical scenario is congenial enough for you to do, or for other people to do what you want to do? Or do you think...
In what sense?
Is classical music doing well in India? It does do well here, but do you think it has the kind of...
It's tough that. I mean, it doesn't get the same kind of support that the parallel Western classical music gets in the West,
yes.
you know. I mean, ironically, the Indian government does actually support classical music a lot, but you don't get the kind of private sponsorship and donorship or media support that you do here for that kind of classical heritage. And so it is hard for people. You know, again, I'm very fortunate. I'm one of the few that does well, and I'm able to, you know, make a good career out of it. But for most people that's not the case, and it's very, very hard.
It's very hard because I think the entire television, or where the focus is of people, the attention is on Bollywood. The whole thing about all competitions are about Bollywood. Where is the space for classical, our heritage?
Yeah, I mean, that's the funny thing, is because the same is going to be true anywhere in the world. Popular music will always be more popular than classical music. That's how it is, you know. But there seems to be a kind of space for everyone, you know, that like you'll have a Royal Opera House for opera, you will have Sadler's Wells for dance, you'll have Barbican for orchestras, you'll have clubs and nightclubs and performance venues for all different genres. So there's space for everyone in a city like London and in many parallel cities around the world. But when you come to India, it's a smaller market for everything somehow. So it's the same radio channels, it's the same rare few venues, it's the same TV channels, and all they're interested in is the most popular music. So it's hard for the people in the more niche or classical forms to get the space they need.
But more should be done, don't you think? And for aspirants who want to come in this music, it does get a difficult choice. I mean, even if it's there in their heart, they have to think of an alternative career, isn't it?
And it'll be such a shame if it's not, because India is the only place in the world, I think, with a living culture we have, a living tradition of classical music, you know, classical dance. It's the only place, you know. And if that's lost, it'll be such a shame.
Yeah, and it does need to happen. Maybe a classical music, Sare Ga Ma Pa. You can think about it, Anoushka. Apart from Sukanya from now on. Last words on Sukanya. Would you want to tell people, come and watch?
Raviji was well received anywhere he went. And now I hope people come and see something which he wrote towards the end of his life, you know, and come and see what this man really was all about.
Your last words, Anoushka.
You know, I don't know, I just think it's something unique. Nothing like this exists anywhere in the world. There is no opera, there is no piece of music or art quite like this. So it would be a very special opportunity to get to see something at this level.
And it's a real bringing together of the East and the West, isn't it?
In a way, yes, but in a way that's inimitably my father's. You know, it's a very, very special and unique thing.
Thank you so very much. Very special for me to have spoken to both of you. What a beautiful family, and it's going to be exquisite. I don't have words. I just know this is going to be an exquisite opera, Sukanya. which will be on tour in UK in May, and you can read here where you can go to get your bookings or get to see that opera, and you must actually, because ये सौगात है हमारे कल्चर की, हमारे हेरिटेज की, और इसकी देखभाल करना हमारी ही जिम्मेदारी है. So please do watch it if you can, and do Twitter me on @Lavina Tandon if you have any feedback, and you can write to me on chaichat@aajtak.com. Thank you. Take care. See you next week. God bless.